I believe he only said woman, and he wound up picking a black woman. But he did say he was going to pick a woman, and you can argue that that did close off any choice of having a man there, unless it was a man that decided to identify as a woman. But you don't believe that the policy should matter more than the personage of the candidate, right? It's not what she is that is your issue, it's how she is. All right, Walsh then decides to go undercover. Joins us now. Thank you for taking the opportunity.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Matt, what do you hope to achieve with this film?
God, you can already feel the tension in the air. What's up, everyone? Today we've got Matt Walsh going head-to-head with Chris Cuomo. You know Cuomo always trying to push that woke narrative and call it common sense. But this time, Walsh comes prepared to demolish the DEI scam for what it really is. Trust me, it gets heated. Walsh doesn't just poke holes in Cuomo's arguments, he lights the whole thing on fire. So let's not waste any time and get into this.
Well, this is our exploration of the DEI so-called anti-racist hustle, the scam. And so we want to expose these con artists for what they are, the people that are pushing this stuff. But we want to do it, comedically with humor. We want to do it in an entertaining way, which is why as you covered, I go on my own journey of racial awakening. And I listen to these people. I listen to what they say. I try to put their teachings into practice in the film. I let them guide me down the rabbit hole so that the viewer can see by the end of the film where it leads. And it leads to some pretty wild and demented places, frankly. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but we take the path where they lead us.
So let's figure out for you what the line is, because I'm sure that diversity, equity, inclusion, these are not bad words for you. So
here comes the classic Cuomo spin. He tries to make it sound like Walsh is against the concept of diversity, but no one is against the idea of fairness or inclusion. It's how these words are twisted into something ugly. Diversity used to mean a mix of ideas and perspectives. Now it means quotas and exclusion. Equity used to mean fairness and opportunity. Now it means forcing outcomes by punishing success. And inclusion, it's just a buzzword to shut down dissent. This is how the left operates. They hijack languages and use it as a weapon. Of course, we are not here to fall for it.
What is the line to where you believe those honorable concepts become something different?
When it's all based in left-wing racial ideology, which these days, I mean, sure, there's a way that you could use the word diversity that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Inclusion doesn't necessarily, there are ways you can include people. That's obviously not bad. But when these terms are used and when it's put together, DEI, it always means left-wing racial ideology. What is left-wing racial ideology? Well, to sum it up in the most simple way possible, it's the idea that white people are inherently racist, inherently bad, and that nobody who is not white can be racist.
This is the heart of DEI ideology. It's like they've rewritten the rules of logic. Racism can only go one way, and if you're white, you're guilty by default. How is that not racist? Imagine teaching kids that their skin color determines whether they're good or bad. It's disgusting, and it's setting us back decades. If we're supposed to be moving toward a colorblind society, but instead they're teaching us to judge people by race more than ever, this isn't progress, it's poison. Let me know if you guys agree down in the comments below.
And that white people are the author of all the oppression and suffering in the world. That's the belief. And every single one of these DEI people, that is absolutely what they believe. I'm not simplifying it at all. That is what they believe. And if it's grounded in that, then it's evil. It's wrong.
What conclusion do you draw? And maybe you just told us there in the end of that last sentence, but, build it out, expound a little for us. What is your conclusion about why the people that you encountered do what you call evil?
Because there's a lot of money in it, and we explore that in the film. In fact,
bingo, Walsh nails it. This isn't about justice or equality, it's a business. DEI is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and guess who's paying for it? You are. Your tax dollars fund DEI consultants who rake in 6 figures to lecture corporations in schools on how problematic everyone is. And here's the kicker, they don't actually fix anything. If racism disappeared tomorrow, these people would be out of a job, so they have every incentive to keep the division alive. It's a scam, plain and simple.
We pay these race hustlers, Robin DiAngelo and others, to be in the film. We put their price tag on the screen because it's part of it's part of the scam. So there's money in it. There's also influence. There's power. There's political advantages. Listen, when people are very obsessively focused on race and they're resentful and angry and they feel guilt and suspicion and all that stuff based on race, they're much easier to manipulate.
This is another great point by Walsh. Keep people angry and divided and you can control them. It's easier to sell bad policies when people are too busy fighting each other to notice. Look at every major leftist movement. It's all about creating division. Whether it's race, gender, or class, they want you to feel like a victim so they can swoop in and save you, quote unquote. But here's the truth. They don't want to solve the problems. They want to profit off of them, and that's what they've been doing.
And that's why they do it. That's why these race hustlers do it in the DEI world. That's why Democrat politicians do it. We have the DEI presidential candidate right now in Kamala Harris, and this is what she stands for. She is the kind of mascot for all this stuff.
Well, is she the mascot because she's a black woman, or do you believe that her politics are using these concepts unfairly? When you say mascot, what do you mean?
Well, it's the policies, but the real reason is that she was put in her position because she's a black woman, and that's not me saying that. I mean, that's Joe Biden said that. Joe Biden said that he was going to, when he was looking for a vice president candidate, he was going to look for a black woman, and he ruled out all other demographics ahead of time and only focused on this demographic. That's DEI. That's what DEI is. That's judging people based on the color of their skin, excluding people.
Let's call this what it is. Biden reduced the second most powerful position in the country to a token. Imagine being Kamala Harris and knowing you weren't chosen for your merit, but because you fit the narrative. That's not empowering, that's demeaning. And it's even worse for the people who weren't considered because they didn't check the right boxes. How is this any different from the discrimination we fought against for decades? It's just reversed now, and the left acts like it's some moral victory.
I believe he only said woman, and he wound up picking a black woman. But he did say he was going to pick a woman, and you can argue that did close off any choice of having a man there, unless it was a man that decided to identify as a woman. But you don't believe that the policy should matter more than the personage of the candidate, right? It's not what she is that is your issue, it's how she is.
Right, that's what we're saying. Those of us who are anti-DEI, our whole point is that what matters is the policies, what matters is the merit of the person. It's when you're in the DEI world, that's where you're dividing people based on race. Okay, you get this because this is your race, you're included because it's your race. No, we don't want you because you're the wrong race. That's the DEI. That's exactly what this film, that's the attitude this film is meant to expose.
Matt Walsh didn't just expose the DEI, he exposed the entire racket behind it. Cuomo tried to defend it, but Walsh steamrolled every argument with facts and common sense. If you are tired of seeing this ideology destroy institutions and divide people, let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe because we are going to keep pointing this out in almost every single one of our videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.